Good morning, everybody. It's 7:30 right now, and our good friend Kim Baer joining us in the studio right now. She's the attorney who talks about some things that will really make you raise your eyebrows occasionally. And this one here, I think if you are a pet owner, you are going to need to pay attention for the next 7 to 8 minutes.
Whether you're a pet owner or not, it's good to be educated about certain things, like in case a dog bite happens.
Yes, in case a dog bite happens. It's springtime, summertime, everybody's outside with their dogs, and so obviously sometimes Fido gets a little upset, or maybe Fido's protecting your property. Whatever the case may be, I thought maybe we'd talk about dog bites in Iowa, what the law is, what you can do to protect yourself if you're the dog owner, what you need to do if you end up getting bit and you want to make a claim.
Right.
So the first thing I thought I would point out is that most people think that if their dog has never bitten anyone in the past, that they get one free bite, and that's not true. In Iowa, it's strict liability. So if your dog bites someone, you're liable. Doesn't matter if, and we hear all the time, my dog's the nicest dog, my dog's never attacked anybody, my dog's never bit anybody. It doesn't matter. If your dog bites someone, claws someone, attacks someone, and hurts them, you're going to be liable for that.
Can I ask really quickly,
Sure.
in the line of ignorance, what considers a bite? Like, does there need to be a mark, or if it was just an action happened and they're like, ow, he bit me.
Well, yeah, I mean, if somebody's going to make a claim, so if you came into my office and you said, oh, that dog attacked me, the first thing I would say to you is, well, show me the mark, show me the bite, show me the scar. Did you have medical bills? If you're just scared, you got scared, the dog attacked you, maybe it just, got your clothes. I don't know that's a claim that we would take. That might still be a claim you want to make, because maybe you've got emotional fear, but usually you need to have some type of physical injury that goes with that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So let's say that you're the dog owner. What are the things that you can do to protect yourself? Well, first, make sure you've got insurance. So,
what kind of insurance? Is there dog insurance?
Well, yeah, there's a rider that you can add to your homeowner's insurance. Now, so what you need to do is call your homeowner's insurance and just ask your agent, what kind of coverage do I have for my pets? And so there's a couple of tips I have there. One, typically you're going to have some type of coverage, but it might be maybe only $10,000. Now, if your dog bites somebody, and let's say it's a child and bites the child on the face, and now we've got a permanent scar, that case is going to be worth a lot more than $10,000, and you're going to be personally liable for anything over the insurance. So you want to make sure that you find out what your limits are and that they're high enough that you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Number two, if you have what's called a vicious dog, and there's a lot of controversy, I'm an animal lover, so I just want to get that out front. Don't send me nasty emails. But there are dogs out there that are deemed vicious from the insurance standpoint and from city ordinances. So if you've got a pit bull, or you've got a Rottweiler, or you've got some type of mix, which you're of different breeds, you're going to want to make sure that you tell your insurance agent, hey, here's the kind of dog I have. Because some insurance policies say we're not going to cover that kind of dog.
So then what do you do in that case?
So then you have to pay for a rider. You're going to have to get a rider. Okay. And it's just worth it. I mean, because you never know with regard to a dog. And typically, I know it sounds a lot of times when I'm on the show that I'm selling insurance. I'm really not. but I, from a dog owner's standpoint, you want to make sure that you're covered.
Right.
All right, now if you've been bit, you're walking along the street and maybe the sidewalk, and this dog comes from somebody's yard and bites you. I mean, obviously the first thing you're going to want to do is let the owner know, hey, I've been bitten. Maybe take some pictures. If somebody saw it, make sure you get their names, because sometimes it turns into a he said, she said, and which is kind of interesting. I've got one right now where the woman clearly was bit by a dog. Animal control says, yeah, that's a dog bite, but the dog owner saying, my dog never bit you. My dog wasn't even in the yard. So having witnesses helps, having neighbors. If you see somebody, that saw it, just make sure you get their name and phone number.
Now, does it matter where you're bitten? Now, I'm not talking about the arm or your leg. I mean, on your property or on public property, does it matter what the location is?
It really doesn't, because as we all know, I mean, we have leash laws and things like that. So the dog is supposed to be under your control. Now, having said that, though, Lou, it's a good point. If I'm trespassing, let's say
you jump the fence.
I jump the fence and I'm going to come onto your property, then there might be an argument that you're not going to be liable, and so that's a question the court's going to have to decide. So there is kind of that out. The other thing I want to talk to people about is if you've got one of these dogs that's arguably vicious because of the breed, check with your city ordinance. And the city ordinances vary city by city by city. Some cities say you have to have a $100,000 policy that covers that dog. Other cities say, oh, you're fine. You don't need additional insurance. So if you're a dog owner, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what the requirements are, because if I've got one of those dogs and I'm in a city that said I had to have insurance and my dog bites you, not only am I going to be liable to you, but now I'm probably going to get a fine. So, and sometimes they'll take the dog away, and we all love our pets. And then of course make sure that the rabies shots are up to date. I've had a lot of cases where people had to go through rabies shots because the dog owner got scared and took the dog and disappeared for a couple of days.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then the person has to go through rabies shots because they can't verify.
Oh. That's not a good thing.
No.
How many dog bite cases do you end up getting every year?
Oh, I probably do maybe 5 or 6 a year.
Okay.
And unfortunately the ones that we get involved in are pretty serious, where a child's face has really been a lot of scratches, a lot of bites. Sometimes dogs go for ears. I've got one right now where a kid was traumatized, by a dog with regard, and he's got scars now on his legs. So, and then sometimes we get calls from homeowners and we say, okay, look, we're more than happy to try and help you, but your homeowner's insurance is going to cover this claim and they're going to give you a lawyer for free. So you don't need to hire us, you don't need to pay us out of your pocket. You need to go make your claim on your homeowner's insurance.
Okay. Now what about people that live in apartments? What should they know?
Well, people who live in apartments, number one, make sure that you're complying with the apartment rules. A point that I want to make, if you own an apartment complex or a duplex or a rental property, you need to know what kind of dogs are on your property, and you need to also know that you might be liable. So for example, if I rent to you and you have one of these arguably vicious dogs and I know about it, and I know that you also let this dog run loose and you're not following the ordinance, you don't have the dog always on a leash or chained up or whatever, I could be liable for what that dog does because I knew about it and I wasn't enforcing the rules. We have sued successfully apartment buildings in the past where we were able to show this apartment building manager knew that dog ran the streets, and the dog was a mix that was not allowed by the apartment complex. So there can be liability for apartment complexes and managers and rental property owners. So again, keep an eye on it. Make sure you've got insurance. If you've been bit, make sure you take pictures. So.
Be informed.
Be informed.
There you go. If people want more details or they just want to get in touch with you and talk to you about another situation, what's the best way?
Sure. Just give us a call at 515-INJURED or 515-279-2000.
All right. Well, thank you, Kim. Great job as always. It is 7:39 right now, and hopefully you can stick around because we are going to be right back. And when we return, we have a NASCAR champion going to be joining us in the studio next. The 2016 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion Johnny Sauter and Ben Kennedy join us when we return.